And already there seems to be uncertainty whether this convention is going to hold or not. And we see possibly because of having Bello acting also as the chairman, while we still had Buni, all those things, and later on they had to go meet the president because we know he's on a health leave to go check his health. And what actually got my attention is the fact that the Minister of Education also accompanied the governor of Yobe State to go meet the president. And I wonder, and I know Nigerians are also wondering, was there no minister or was there no any other governor that could go alongside to go meet the president? Why would the Minister of Education be part of the people that will go meet the president? We are having a very serious issue here on ground. As we're still on strike, the educational sector seems to be going through a lot. And I think at this point in time, he's supposed to make that his primary responsibility. When you take a look at your priority, what is of top interest to you? This will be the question Nigerians are asking. So us having him going over to meet APC, I'm not saying APC is not of importance to him. Definitely, possibly he is like say, a very dedicated member of the APC, but I believe at this point in time, the educational sector needs his attention. He's supposed to be sitting down together with the Minister of Labour, with ASU, looking for the way forward. Already, ASU is already moving to 2 months warning strike. And we're just praying and hoping that this does not move on or does not linger longer to be an indefinite strike. We're already talking about the implication of this strike on insecurity on the nation. We've been trying to fight insecurity for a very long time now. And then having the Minister of Education going over there, personally, if you ask me, I would say it will seem that the education is not of priority to him, and that is why he went over there. He should put that as a secondary responsibility and not a primary responsibility. So we're just hoping that the other ministers or other people will actually see things from this point of view. When you're being given a responsibility, make sure you put that as your primary responsibility and not any other thing should be your primary responsibility.
Yes, with the election that is by the corner, and this party failed to understand that if the educational sector and even other sectors that are facing like so many issues at this point in time, if they are being repaired and brought to standard, it will be to their benefit, even when they aspire to come 2023, even as for the presidential seat, because people will have records that even while you were in position, this and this worked out well for people, but you see that clash of interest and even misplacement of priorities. What is happening here? Because your sector, the sector you're overseeing, is having issues, and you're not worried about it. You are looking out for ways you can amend the internal crisis that you're having in the party. Although we still look out for other ways, because people are saying so many things. It has stirred up anger in the mind of people, especially the youth, because seeing that the Minister of Education is not even on seat to look out for ways they can balance the problem that is going on between ASU and the federal government, on looking out for ways they can bring these people back, because extending this strike again with the warning strike with 2 months, it has a way of affecting the students, it has a way of affecting parents also, because of the uncertainty that is surrounded by all these things. And now we can see that the minister is out of the country on issues, ways they can settle the internal crisis, although they will be back today. And I hope that when they are back, even with the president, they will look into this. Although NANS have given the federal government and ASU 2 weeks to settle the issue and students to go back to school, we just put our fingers crossed, and we are hopeful that students will go back to school very soon, because we don't want to see this 2 months. The 2 months is really far for the student. We need them to go back to school to settle everything that they need to settle. So we just hope that something will be done about this thing very soon.
Thank you so much, Tosi. And other stories still on the New Telegraph. We'll explore options to deal with rejected Electoral Act amendment. This is coming from Malami with the rider 2023. El-Rufai directs appointees with ambition to resign. And we have a study here. Pharmaceutical found at toxin level in Walls rivers. And if you want to know more about that study, you can check the story on page 26 of the New Telegraph. And that's all from the New Telegraph.
Thank you, Sally. On Al Jazeera, Nigeria, the presidency plots to stop Atiku. Orders thickens. The fresh crisis is brewed in the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, over the choice of the geopolitical zone that will produce the party's presidential flag bearer in the 2023 general election. There are indications after the party's National Executive Committee meeting that plots to step former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Governor of Sokoto State Aminu Tambuwal, the former Senate President Bukola Saraki, and Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, frontline presidential aspirants from the north who defected from the party in 2015 and returned to the party from participating in the party's presidential national convention, has intensified. And this, we know that the former vice president, that's Abubakar Atiku, is aspiring for the position of presidency, and we're seeing that there are plots to stop him even from the former Senate President Bukola Saraki, Senator Kwankwaso, to stop those in the northern geopolitical zone from aspiring from the presidential election. But I keep on saying, if you are fit to run this position, if you have the interest of the masses at heart, you have the interest of the nation even at large to move it to greatness, then you should aspire for this position. But it's left to the citizens to vote who they deem fit that is qualified to come into party. So all these things, definitely when election is drawing nearer, you keep on hearing stories like this, but people should not be discouraged. People should go out, get their PVC, and come out in their numbers for the election. And the big story on grid collapse: ADC, CSOs, NLC plans showdown. And a picture story, we can see Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo going through a document with Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, during a virtual Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Oshibanjo seeks review of school curriculum, and I just hope that this is a way of moving the educational sector forward, and I hope that the issues that is surrounding the educational sector will be reviewed, will be brought to the table, and they should be deliberated on so that we'll find a lasting solution, have a stable educational sector, because if our educational sector is stable, it will move our country forward. While on zoning, Yari Shon's APC picks chairmanship nomination form. UK backtracked, says student works visas still open, just as a result of the news read yesterday, where they said they are trying to stop give Nigerians visa for work, for school, and even family visa. But now we can see that the Geoffrey Onyema is saying that it's a lie, that UK have opened it up for people, and Nigerians are still getting their visas to go abroad. And Electoral Act amendment will still have options on NAS refusal, says Malami. On 2023, PDP begins sale of form today. Reps squeeze Amechi BPE over $214 million Deep Blue contract. And the full story can be found in page 22 of the Al Jazeera Nigeria. Missing 107 million barrels of crude oil. NDC demands removal. Prosecution of Kyari. Following revelations of the missing 107 million barrels of crude oil in 2019, audit report by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation against the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, a group known as Niger Delta Congress, has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to immediately sack and prosecute the entire leadership of the NNPC. In a statement on Wednesday, NDC spokesman Ovunda Eni said this. And this is still narrowing down to corruption, because when you have issues like this of missing crude oil, like 107 million barrel of crude oil missing, and this was shown in an audit report that was done in NNPC, and now we can see that the Niger Delta Congress are saying that the director of NNPC, that's Mele Kyari, should be removed from that office because they can't bring about the way that this crude oil got missing all of a sudden. But this is not just about NNPC only. We had so many sectors that had issues of missing things. We had where the armory where it was looted and missing arms were gone all of a sudden. We see where pipelines are being vandalized, and there's no report about it. There's no follow-up stories on how these things are being recovered, how these things are being looted. So just hope that all these things will be looked into, because all the sectors that are having issues of missing things like this, and all these things are taxpayers' money that are used to invest in all these places. If they can be follow-up stories, all these people should be followed up. If your sector is lagging behind, if your sector is suffering, you should be accountable for it. So we just hope that there will be follow-up on all these things. To not just stop on issues of stories like this, but they should be follow-up so that we have the outcome. And people will be relaxed and say, yes, there are people who are following up the way money are being used in the government. We don't need government to be relaxed and taxpayer keep paying money and they are relaxed, they use the money anyhow. That's why we have the auditing unit where they should audit all these things, audit taxpayers' money, audit how all these funds are being used and all these things that are bought in all these sectors to see that growth and development come to the country. But you see that there is misplacement of priority. People just use it anyhow and then they don't give reports. They are not sorry about all these things. And I see this is as a result of the issue we are going through as a country now. We have the adulterated fuel, we have the long queues, we have the scarcity of petrol, we have our transport sector, the inflation in prices, we have the electricity, we have the shutdown. So we just hope that there will be follow-up story about this, although it happened in the year 2019, but it's not still late. We can still follow up and bring about the whole issue, and those who are found guilty should face the wrath of the law. And that's all the story on Al Jazeera newspaper.
Okay, let's take a good look at the Nation newspaper. We have PDP net fails to OK zoning, pays 40 million for phone. Yoruba Nation agitators file suits to stop Ekiti Oshun polls. Madam Me, we are seeking options on Electoral Act, and detail of that story can be found on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. And the big story here, Buhari to APC governors, Buni remains party chair. President insists on March 26 convention date. Yobe governor back, cancelled the net meeting. The federal government to stop payment for unused electricity, and I think this is a very good news, and because people are actually tired of receiving bills of electricity they didn't use. So for the federal government to actually move towards that, I think it's the right step in the right direction. And we should also look into other sectors that citizens are paying money for what actually they don't use. I think even the water, because of late, not just is there a power outbreak, also there has been no water of late. So also let's look into that sector to see what we can do to revive it back. And senators rep pledged to support for Tinubu, and we have some little captions here that said, look at my capacity, I am an unusual candidate, we will use that unity to cleanse Nigeria for unrealistic potential. This is coming from Tinubu. And Senator Lawan said, all of us wish you well, wish you the best of love, wish you success. We are with you for APC to remain as the ruling party. And the reps, this is coming. He said, I want to look at you in the face and tell you that this is the time to pay back. You have all it takes to be the president. Where we're really happy that all the support that Tinubu need is being given to him, but we will not fail or we will not get tired of saying that for whoever was going to take the mantle of leadership, he or she should know that is not an easy thing to do. You need to be capable, you need to have the strength, you need to have the character, you need to have the charisma, you need to have even the integrity to run that position, because it's not just about having the backings of the senators or the reps or any other person, but then knowing the fact that you have what it takes. We just don't want to have manifestos coming and then you just tell us, and at the end of the day you tend to tell us that you start blaming, pushing, because it has always been a blame game. This person did, that party did, so we don't want to hear that. If you know that you have what it takes, then you should know that Nigeria has a lot. You should know that there is corruption. You should know that there is insecurity, so you should be capable of handling that. And even if it, at the end of the day, don't end up, getting that position, whatever ideas you have, will not fail to say that. Make sure you share it with the person ruling so that we can see how, because Nigeria belongs to all of us. We cannot sell the country as other people are saying and share the money. No, this is our country. So we should do what it takes to maintain the integrity, the progress, and the unity of this country. And other stories still on the paper here. We have Luke Tech alumni rejects Makandate's move to remain varsity. You want to know more about that story? You make sure you do grab the Nation newspaper and read detail of that story. story. And that's all from the Nation newspaper.
Thank you, Sele. On Nigerian Tribune, federal government wants TikTok to suspend account of Nigerians promoting fake news and ritual. And I see this is a good step because the social media now has become a platform where it's abusing a whole lot of things and so many activities of ritual act and it's promoting crime. And we see that people, you see youths now have become the at the receiving end, where you see so many illicit activities. They just want to get quick money. They go into ritual acts and even display it on social media. They display their wealth and even talk about how they got those wealth and try to promote people and even try to lure people to come join them in such activities. So we just see that if this TikTok can suspend accounts of those people who are promoting fake news and even ritual activities, it will be good, because we need to curb these issues of ritual activities. We have to stop it because people are no longer safe again. Moving around, we see acts where people are being killed, even boarding car from one place to the other. We see children, school children, being lured and killed. So we have to stop this act, and it's a good step that the federal government is looking out where social media can stop the account, can suspend the account of those Nigerians that are promoting all these things. And NANS, which is the National Association of Nigerian Students, gives federal government ASU 2 weeks to end strike, declares ASU real enemy of students, and passes votes of no confidence on Ngige and Adamu. While on APC crisis, Buhari backs Buni, wants governors, NEC meeting cancelled. Buni returned after meeting with Buhari in London. Tinubu meets APC Senate, reps caucuses over presidential aspirants. And Soludo to be inaugurated as Anambra governor today. We wish him all the best as he takes this mantle of leadership in Anambra State. We just hope to see positive change. We hope to see growth in Anambra State. All the manifestos, all the agenda he has laid before him, we just hope that there won't be distraction. He should work towards actualizing all those things and moving Anambra State to the greater nation. Power crisis is like war. This is coming from the federal government, and I just think it's because of the issue we have, the discos that were shut down, and the power gridlock we had in 7 states, and the discos that were shut down. And we had that immediately the Minister of Power called a meeting immediately to look out for ways they can resolve all those things. And there's a story that followed up saying that all those have been restored. It is really good if we can keep to toe on different sectors that we are overseeing, we are superseding. We should keep to toes and see that everything is being restored like very fast. Definitely there will be issues in those sectors, but how fast are you responding to look out to those sectors and bring it back to normalcy? And we just hope that this will not have issues again of those discos shutting down and having issues with our power sectors any longer. And NJC issues warning to 2 judges, places one on watch list over judicial misconduct. With details in page 30. Oshun, Ekiti polls, Akintoye, 17 others want exercise stopped. Sue INEC, AGF fault 1999 constitution. PDP opens presidential race, fixes 40 million naira fee for form, set up 37-member zoning committee to report back in 2 days. And we still have the picture story from where we can see Yobe State Governor and the Chairman of Progressive Congress and the President Muhammadu Buhari and also the Minister of Education Adamu. And those are all the stories making rounds on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
Okay, a look at the Vanguard newspaper. Energy crisis, Buhari apologizes why crisis may linger by industry leaders. The detail of that story can be found on page 8 and 20 of the Vanguard newspaper. British High Commission refutes claim of student work family visa suspension. Nigeria dumps maritime for regional development bank, and detail of that can be found on page.
Sorry, let me the Vanguard newspaper. energy crisis, Buhari apologizes why crisis may linger by industry leaders. British High Commission refutes claim of students work family visa suspension. And NPAN Uzodinma Odion mourns as Emeka Obasi, the publisher of Hillback newspaper, dies at 58. Nigerian dumps Maritime Bank for Regional Development Bank. And APC, the big story on Vanguard, says Buhari fires Bello, says Buni to conduct convention. Niger Governor Sani Bello axed as CPC acting chairman as Buhari warns APC governors against unguarded utterances. Says Buni must conduct March 26 convention. Buni returns council NEC meeting fixed for today. Party sticks to zoning formula as Yari Adamu Tango. Yari Mustafa Musa Almokura Akume Adamu picks nomination form. And on strike, NANS gives federal government ASU 2 weeks deadline to open varsity. And Vanguard Award will spur me to do more. This is from Governor Abiodun. PDP set to hold presidential primary in May. Begin sales of nomination form tomorrow. Presidential form go for 40 million naira, while governorship form 21 million naira. Set up 37-man committee to decide on zoning. IU calls for united front among party members. While on 2023, I won't step on Buhari's toes, Tinubu tells APC senators and reps. On Electoral Act amendment request, federal government to consider all options available. This is from Malami. And Anambra upbeat as Soludo takes over today. NJC places judge on watch list. OK's appointment of 9 judges. While on 1999 constitution, Akintoye, 17 Yoruba group seeks to stop Ekiti on Osun governorship polls. That's all on the Vanguard newspaper. And I'll take the Punch also. I'll take the Punch newspaper, which says bank total assets rose by 8.25 trillion naira in 2021. This is a CBN report. Blackouts. Federal government blames gas shortage. Vandalism. OK's 40 billion naira for discos. National Assembly proposing criminalizing illegal connection, meter bypass. And you can see that these are still things that are causing the problem we're having the discos damaging, having the blackout because of meter bypass, illegal connection. And you see people having illegal connection, and it's affecting those people who get their own light directly from the meter, get their light directly from NEPA because of all this illegal connection. There was a time when NEPA went through different communities to fish out those people who were involved in illegal bypass, and a fine was placed on them. But we see that after that, people still go back to their dirty game, and we see people still doing all this, and it's affecting even those people who don't do all this illegal activities, and it's even affecting the discos. It's affecting the meters because of all this illegal bypass. We just plead to Nigerians that we should get our light from the right sources if we can stop all these things, and we just look out for NEPA officials. They should still move around in different communities, in different areas to fish out these people, because the larger Nigerians cannot suffer from these people's mistake, and they cannot suffer from these people's fault. So something should be done about it, because if we want to move our country forward, we need to stop all these criminal activities. And on Electoral Act, federal government exploring courts, talk on amendment, says AGF. NJC places judge on watch list, warns another for misconduct. And PDP presidential aspirant form to cost 40 million naira. El Rufai, other APC governors lose out. Buni meets Buhari, returns today. APC chair Pali president in UK returns from Dubai trip, cancels NEC meeting. Party may die if crisis continue. Buhari warns direct DSS, please to provide cover. Most port scanners are obsolete, says Custom CG. There are marks of fingers on slain OAU student's body, and this is as a pathologist's result that was found concerning the slain OAU student. Soldier beat Ondo 69-year-old artisan to death over 7,000 naira. Atiku former spokesman declares Ogun governorship bid, and Tinubu berates presidential aspirant over defection, sells bid at National Assembly. Ondo shoemaker claiming self-defense stabs landlord's son to death. While the last story on the Punch says, on Yoruba Nation, Akintoye others ask court to stop Ekiti and Oshun polls. We have a picture story. Do well to visit to look out for what interests you on the Punch newspaper.
Thank you so much, Josie, for that help. And let's take a look at the new, the Daily Independent. On 2023 presidency, Tinubu asks APC senators to support his lifelong ambition. With the rider House of Reps, APC caucus endorse him. Tension in Imo as gunmen kill 2 prison officers. This really is sad one. Now we're asking on all the officials to be on their toe, and let's make sure that no prison warder or officer gets killed again. And on APC leadership crisis, El Rufai, Akiro Dodu misread Buhari's directive on Buni. And the rider says President endorsed Buni to perfect plan for March 26 convention. Caution governors against provocative utterances. UK debugs suspending student work family visas for Nigerians, and detail of that story can be found on page 6 of the Daily Independent. NJC won 2 judges, recommends 15 for appointment. Outgoing Governor Opabio says he fulfilled most of his promises, but I think this should be a testimony, or possibly this should be coming from the indigents, not coming from the governor himself. But if he is confident enough to tell us that he has actually fulfilled most of his promises, then that means whatever is left, whoever has taken over should take up from where he has left, and then should even do better than what he has done. Retired Air Force Chief lose $228, okay, $428 property to the federal government. And we have here the federal government blames gas shortage for current power situation, with the rider considers dragging National Assembly to court over Electoral Act amendment. I think this Electoral Act amendment is actually lingering for so long, the back and forth, and even though because it's actually it has brought to my mind, before the president would sign that, there was lots of protests coming up, and now they have signed it, nobody seems to even notice, nobody seems to be saying anything about it. And even though the president came out clearly and told the National Assembly that there is a particular section he wanted them to take out of the Electoral Act, which most of the members of the House rejected it, that they are not taking that act out because they believe that they cannot be given equal position, because the act that the president wanted them to take out is the fact that nobody as a sitting senator or as a sitting minister should still contest for election. And the members of the House actually totally agree that yes, that thing should stand. They are not taking it down. I know we've been waiting for the ruling concerning that section of that amendment, but we're still looking at it. What, at the end of the day, who would this benefit? Is it just for the benefit of the people who are actually on power, or is it for the masses? I think we actually have to weigh this entire Electoral Act bill and see to whose favor is it, because I think it's supposed to favor everybody in the country, not just a particular set of people. But we're still looking at the Madam Lee has actually been talking about it, going to court and then seeing what can be done about it. Where our fingers are crossed to see what the end result of this whole thing will be. And the last story I would like to take here, say on 2023, PDP pegs presidential form at 40 million naira, governorship at 21 million naira, and detail of that story can be found on page 7. Do well to get the Daily Independent and read detail of that.
Thank you, Sele. But before we move on to the next paper, which is the Daily Trust newspaper, we'll be right back after this timeout. Not to forget that our phone lines are open for you to call and talk about stories that interest you on the papers we are reviewing this morning. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying tuned and welcome back. Olabi Tosin and Sele Elisha have been the one reviewing stories on from the dailies on Equa Television. Do well to call us on stories that interest you on the papers we have been reviewing so far. So moving to the Daily Trust newspaper on 2023 presidency. APC reps endorse Tinubu, senators wish him well. And on fall crisis, Buhari apologizes to Nigerians. Others clamp down to saboteurs. Businesses struggle for survival as diesel price soars. Cost of production unbearable. This is coming from manufacturers. And supply will adjust in few weeks from oil marketers. Job loses looms. You can see business manufacturers and even business moguls are clamoring for the prices of diesel to come down because it's affecting businesses, it's affecting manufacturing, and it's affecting job owners. So we just hope that these prices will be looked into and there will be availability of diesel, availability of fuel, so that people can go about their normal activities and people can go about their normal activities, and we'll see that production will take place in the country, because of we're having now that even those that are producing bread, that's the bakers, they're talking about going on strike because they can't get the diesel to run their generators, to run them to bake. And even so many sectors are complaining. You see the aviation sector complaining. So we just hope that something will be done about it. And since the Minister of Petroleum have come out to apologize to Nigerians and say they will look into this, we just hope that they will look into it. And 2023 PDP begins sale of form as meeting on zoning deadlocked. How Lagos Bishop drugged defiled daughter. This is really sad. An electoral act, we may go to court. This is from the federal government. APC cancels next meeting as Buhari backs Buni committee. Yobe governor meets president in London. And that's all on the Daily Trust newspaper.
Okay, let's take a look at the sweet crude. Even though there's a paper from yesterday, but because we didn't take it, so we just like to look at what has been happening in the world of the oil. We have oil firms burn off 44 billion naira gas in January. The minister put Nigerian free trade zone accumulative investment at $20 billion. Our target is zero importation of fertilizer this year. This is coming from Kiari. And we still have other story here that say the NCDPM, Afrimax Bank, APOP chart new funding model for African oil industry. For those who are really interested in what has been happening concerning crude oil and other things, just do grab the sweet crude report and check detail of any of the story that is of interest to you.
Thank you, Sele. Moving to the Voice of Liberty on 2023 presidency, Tinubu canvasses APC senators' support for his presidential ambition. Power crisis is like war, but we are dealing with it, says Power Minister. Leadership deficit pushing Nigerians to brink of collapse. Nance Won tells ASU federal government to call off strike in 12 days. Power crisis is like war, but we are dealing with it, says the Power Minister. And Kwara APC ex-chairman Bashir Bolarinwa heads NBC board. APC crisis, Buhari meets Buni in London, orders him to take charge of party as Buni cancels APC NEC meeting slated for today. The chairman of the All Progressive Congress Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Maimala Buni, yesterday paid a visit to President Muhammadu Buhari in London. Buni made the brief stop over in London following a medical trip to Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. And on National Convention, Yari defies APC zoning formula, picks chairmanship form. Angry residents react as only 50 guests allowed at Soludo's inauguration, and this is coming from Anambra State. And the International Court orders Russia to immediately halt its military operations in Ukraine. And that's all on the Voice of Liberty.
Thank you. Let's take a look at the world of business, and this is Business Day newspaper. Petrol import doubled to 3.96 trillion naira in 1 year. And we have the interest rate MPC review unlikely on inflation and oil price, and you can turn to page 2 to read detail of that story. Commodity exchange seen as better deal for farmers. And we still have oil marketers say airlines refuse contract own millions. Nigerians' misery rise as living standard fall. Definitely, and this is really a sad one. And let's take a look at a chart here that's coming from the incentive for smuggling. Petrol price growth between Nigeria and neighbors. And in Niger, we have it for 406 naira. In Chad, it goes for 360 naira. In Cameroon, it goes for 438 naira. In Nigeria, it should go for 167 naira. In Benin Republic, it should go for 419 naira. And in Ghana, it goes for 502 naira. And in Togo, it goes for 353 naira. For those who are interested in what this means, you do well to get the Business Day newspaper, and you can read detail of that story.
Thank you, Sele. On this day newspaper, the power outage, fuel scarcity, President apologizes to Nigerians, says government will soon restore normalcy. Good morning. We have a caller from Anambra. How is Anambra this morning? Good morning. Hello. So on power outage, fuel scarcity, President apologizes to Nigerians, says government will soon restore normalcy. Federal government working earnestly to resolve grid collapse. And NEC gas pipeline vandalism, not non-payment of GENCOs responsible for worsening supply. Subsidy slumps to 30 billion naira in 2022 from 600 billion high. Including litigation, Federal government consider 3 options to address Electoral Act in per se. And Chinua Achebe's son, Chidi, wins U.S. Bard Award in Medicine and Science. And just yesterday, we recorded where over 10,000 patients just have 2 doctors that are just 4 doctors that are responding to them. And you see that, like I said yesterday, I said we have doctors that are making us proud even in the foreign country. And we can see a record where Chinua Achebe's son, he was even awarded for he was awarded with the U.S. Bard Award in Medicine and Science. If we can look into our sector, the health sector, and see ways we can restore this sector. We have people that know what to do in this sector, people that will make us proud, because we should not have issues where doctors, we have scarcity of doctors, we don't have doctors prefer to go and give out their services in foreign countries. And you see that when you even have record of these doctors giving out their services in foreign country, they are even awarded because they are giving it out well. So we should make our sectors conducive for people, make the health sector conducive so that even people can come to our country to receive the medical treatment that they need. PDP's next set up 37-man committee over presidential ticket, gives mandate to report back in 2 weeks. Party's convention proposed for May 28 and 29. Sale of forms commence March 17. Presidential form to cost 35 million naira. And Tambuwal meets 37 PDP state chairs over ambition. In letter to Bagudu, Buhari directs return to status quo in APC. We have Mr. Emmanuel from Ghana. Good morning, Emmanuel. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, good morning. How is Nigeria today?
Fine. I think we lost that call. Do well to call us back, Emmanuel. And when you call, please go straight to the point. And the writer following the story says, I hold no grudge against anyone, declares Yobe governor. President says Buni be allowed to conclude convention plans and warns governors to ease fire, stop further acts that can divide party. CPC Council's next meeting scheduled for today. And on convention, Yari undermines APC zoning, obtains chairmanship form. And that's all on this day newspaper.
Okay, for sport lovers, we have the Sporting Life, and there are some very captivating stories here. We have the Blues crusade into the quarter-finals. We also have the old lady stung by the yellow submarine. We also have other stories here that says Baba Yara Sports Stadium, Kumisi to host the Black Stars Eagles tie. And another one here says CAF confirms Cape Coast Stadium not ready, Ghana versus Nigeria. And we have Messi to stay at PSG beyond the end of the season. They tend to be quite very captivating story for sport lovers. So do well to get the Sporting Life, and you can read any of the stories here that is of the interest to you.
Thank you, Sele. The last paper I'll be reviewing this morning is the Desert Herald. Nigerian alarming poverty despite oil fall. Oil price windfall and fuel scarcity, mass revolt looms. This is from the Labour Congress. 4 major crises may end APC's reign in 2023. And still on 2023, Atiku, Governor Bala in titanic battle for PDP's ticket. That's all on Desert Herald this morning, and that's how far we can go on the program this morning for From the Dailies. Opportunities don't happen, you create them. Have a good morning.